Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. After completely searching through and taking out the treasures the Asia youth left behind, the goods spread over 10,000 kilometers across the vast grassland. Even though it was plenty, there were only few with value. One of which instantly attracted his attention. 29 centimeters 1,000-year light. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked at a laser-like item. This 29 centimeters of light was lying on the ground. After careful examination, he could feel the light warp about it, naturally being drawn in. 1,000-year light. It was a peculiar item. It was a material used to create time-based weapons. These sort of materials would occasionally occur within a black hole, or within a secret region. It was priceless. This 29 centimeters 1,000-year light, it would cost at least 3 billion points in the treasure trove. He muttered that Asia warrior actually had such a treasure. Green-white dew, 32 kilometers, diameter 2.1 meter 8.2 meter. 360 beads of 9 light grains. After separating the goods, he got more and more excited. Seeing how he's accumulated so many materials, he must have been planning to forge a powerful time-based weapon. Luo Feng muttered that Black Whip was made of good materials too. It could change in size and meld with the time laws. However, its price is only within 1 to 200 million points. How could it compare to these? Just the materials alone would cost about 8 billion points, and this is with my discount and all. That Asia youth would probably have to pay even more. The weapon he would create from these would have been terrifying. After documenting all the items, Luo Feng smiled. Very good. The points and wealth accumulated from killing normal warriors could never compare to simply killing one with a huge background. Of course, the bigger their background, the harder it was to kill them. That Asia youth, from Luo Feng's perspective, was much harder to kill than Ciweka. The black-armored youth, Ciweka, and Luo Feng. They all had huge backgrounds. If they succeeded in killing Luo Feng, the Shogu wings, the beast god armament, the Luo Ku holy water, the black metal boards, the general armor, they'd truly strike it rich. Even with background, the knights behind the black-armored youth and Ciweka would never dare barge into the outer region wars. As for Luo Feng's teacher, the primal chaos city leader, he had said so himself. He didn't wish to have to go save Luo Feng. After all, he could do so with his position. However, it was somewhat of a disgrace. Unless he was completely forced into a corner, the city leader would never come. The spoils are not bad. Luo Feng nodded. The beast beside him was gazing down at the blur of items. Suddenly a seemingly normal crystal attracted its attention. He looked down. It dark gold eyes staring at the crystal amidst the countless other items. It was a round and normal-looking crystal. Black-clothed Luo Feng flew to it and stared. The round crystal ball was the size of a soccer ball. It lay on the ground. Shio. World energy floated about the crystal before permeating it. Just as the world energy entered the crystal, it suddenly lit up. All sorts of colors glowed from it. It shot out light in all directions, almost like a glaring sun. Endless lights engulfed the entire world. Within the lights, Luo Feng and the beast felt discomfort within the space and time. My God! Luo Feng stared. Howl! The beast howled, staring wide-eyed. The two bodies stared at the normal-looking crystal that was glowing brightly with many colors. That mysterious powerful energy, and the discomfort of the time and space, instantly made Luo Feng understand. Huge treasure. I've found a huge treasure. Damn, this is that Asia youth's true treasure. I've been curious, at low emperor level, how could he unleash time stop? That move is even harder than teleportation. This must definitely be a huge treasure. Luo Feng muttered, staring hard at the glaring crystal. Actually, when the Asia youth unleashed time stop, Luo Feng had thought, he had used a combination of his talent and law comprehension to do so. After seeing the mysterious crystal, Luo Feng instantly deduced that ability was most definitely from the crystal ball. Luo Feng had seen many treasures, however he rarely saw something with such powerful energy. Kai Kai Kai. A blur of mysterious words began to appear on the surface of the crystal. The strokes of the words were like engravings. Even though Luo Feng didn't understand them, he instantly understood them. These words. Luo Feng was staring intensely. Demon Note Inheritance. It's the same words from the Demon Note Inheritance. Yes. Luo Feng had seen these words once before. It was back then when he accepted the Demon Note Inheritance. The same mysterious words from before. Even though he didn't recognize the words, he still instantly understood what they said. The content was simple. The summary was: this is the inheritance crystal of Dream Light God. Any sector Lord life form with a soul can fully accept it. After completing it, he can begin training in Dream Light God techniques. Completing the inheritance to perfection will make one a God messenger. The messengers can meld these crystals with their body. If successful, he can become a new Dream Light God candidate. The universe is vast, however there will only be one Dream Light God. If one becomes the candidate, the others with the crystals can only at most become messengers. Only when the candidate falls will a new one emerge. The inheritance occurs once every 10,081 eras. This one was used 82 eras ago. It requires another 9,999 eras to accept another. Luo Feng blinked after reading. He understood this Dream Light God candidate meant that there were many that actually made huge progress with this inheritance. It was obvious the difficulty was far below that of the Demon Note Inheritance. Back then the Demon Note Inheritance had said, over countless years, not a single being had completed it. And the way of inheritance seemed different too. The Demon Note Inheritance went step by step, only reaching the end. Will it allow one to have great progress? This Dream Light Inheritance was first learning the technique and training it. When one reached the level of messenger, he could wait for the current candidate to fall and grow. Another 9,999 eras for the next one. Damn. 100 million years. Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh. Looks like the last inheritance was definitely used by that Asia youth. He definitely got the technique within, hence he could use time stop. What do I do about this? Luo Feng muttered. This was a treasure, yet he couldn't use it. Simply guessing alone, it was clear that this was related to the time laws. He however walked the path of the beast god. This path was a true path of the universe masters, mainly fusing gold and space. Naturally he wouldn't waste time in studying the time laws. Specializing was more efficient, spending time on what he was proficient in. However he couldn't use this. But its value was undeniable. This was an inheritance crystal, one that occurred once every 10,081 eras. It was hard to determine its worth. I cannot use it. It'll be a waste in my hands. Anyone who wants to use it will have to wait 9,999 eras. Luo Feng shook his head. Only those that have lived that long would have the patience. I'll go ask teacher on how to deal with this. He instantly made the decision. The Dreamlight God Inheritance Crystal was something he had never seen within the treasure trove. It was obviously much rarer. Such a treasure. It was easiest to get an answer from the Primal Chaos City leader. Tru Yang is training in the space laws too. He's at the final step now to becoming a knight. This is useless to him. Luo Feng was very grateful to Tru Yang. If he could help him, he would definitely do it. However, Tru Yang was at the final step. Many valuable treasures were useless to him. The useful ones, Luo Feng couldn't afford. Virtual universe, at the highest peak of Thunder Island, endless primal chaos energy engulfed the palace. That was the city leader's palace. Luo Feng appeared outside the entrance and stepped in, walking inwards. Teacher. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. What's the matter? A calm voice resounded from the chaos energy. I've just acquired a treasure from the outer region wars. He said respectfully, this treasure. I've never seen it before. After checking it, mysterious words appeared on the surface, and I got to know that it's an inheritance crystal for the Dream Light God. God Inheritance Crystal. The city leader walked out from the chaos energies. Even though he didn't show any of his strength, a life form at that level naturally made Luo Feng submit. The city leader's expression was casual, his eyes deep and profound. He smiled. You actually got an inheritance crystal. Your luck sure is good. even the Hong Alliance has only collected over 8,000 such crystals. As for the Dream Light God crystal, the Hong Alliance only has one, it's very rare. Luo Feng blinked. Not strange. The city leader said, back then when you accepted the demon note inheritance, there were 32 palaces there. The demon light inheritance has tens to over 100, why the surprise? Luo Feng was disappointed within. Whether it was selling away the inheritance crystal, or using it in the future, the rarer it was the better. From what he heard, there were tens to hundreds of the Dream Light inheritance crystal. Of the over 800 crystals the Hong Alliance has, the ones with the most similar crystals, is at most 101 of them. The city leader stood there, chaos energy revolving about him. The Hong Alliance only has one Dream Light inheritance crystal, hence the price of yours is pretty high. Luo Feng was happy within as he listened intently. A God candidate inheritance is lower than a God general inheritance. The city leader said, even with great progress in the God candidate inheritance, one would at most reach the limit of emperor level. Only with the fusion of the crystal and becoming one with it would one have the strength of a normal knight, which is the strength of your teacher True Yang. True Yang? Luo Feng was shocked. The city leader nodded, your teacher True Yang is invincible amongst the emperors, akin to a normal knight. This is the strength level of a Dream Light messenger. As for the candidate, even with great progress in all the techniques, he would at most be a pinnacle warrior, not akin to a normal knight. Also, there is a bad side to accepting this inheritance. If one doesn't make great progress in it, that's okay. However, if one goes far with it, their limit in their life would forever be that of a candidate. The city leader looked at Luo Feng, meaning, training in the inheritance techniques may raise one's strength early on, however later on, they would be affected by it and never will be able to truly become a knight. Ah! Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. Couldn't become a knight. Fortune begets disaster, one would be extremely strong early on, but never able to become a knight. Becoming a knight itself is extremely hard, hence many geniuses don't have that kind of ambition, even willing to train in the inheritance techniques. The city leader said, as one has to be sector lord level to train in the inheritance, undyings are unable to receive it, hence the price for each inheritance isn't too high. Luo Feng nodded. Right. If a sector lord could receive the inheritance, how high could the price be? Normally they have their teacher's help, within the Hong Alliance, accepting one inheritance, one can use points to exchange for it, it's usually priced within 1 billion to 3 billion points, according to the different inheritance and power levels, the price differs. The city leader continued, if it's a God general inheritance, that's completely different. The Emperor Undyings all fight hard for their slots, getting their teachers to help. The price of one time alone could reach several tens of billion of points. Also, they would owe favors for getting their teachers help. Tens of billions of points along with favors, just to try and get one chance for the God general inheritance. The city leader said, you should know how much more valuable it is. True Yang has accepted one before. Luo Feng was curious. A God candidate inheritance has a limit of an emperor level strength, even becoming the one and only candidate would allow one the strength of a knight. The God general inheritance is trillions of times harder, the moment one accepts it, that would have the limit of knights, even against universe masters, they will be able to survive. It's akin to the creator of the Nanshan seven forms, Shiluo Duo. Also akin to the Qian Shi Palace master whom you know. Though it's not truly the level of a universe master, they can be considered almost at that level. The city leader said, of course the God general inheritance is much harder, it's extremely hard for one to complete them, even so, they still benefit a lot. Definitely much greater in amplifying the soul and other techniques, even strengthening the body. Luo Feng nodded. He had received the inheritance before, his spirit energy amplitude exceeded 3,200. God candidate inheritance, God general inheritance. The difference is huge. The strength difference is huge, so are the future prospects. Hence with regards to the point exchange within the Hong Alliance, the difference is huge as well. The city leader looked at Luo Feng, as to the Dream Light inheritance crystal you've got, it's useless in your hands. You have two choices. 1. Sell it to the virtual universe company, it will be priced at 30 billion points. 2. You can use it to exchange for a god general inheritance, as there is only one every 10,081 eras. The next suitable one for you will happen 120,000 years from now. 2 choices, you can choose. After he spoke, he remained silent and awaited Luo Feng's answer. Luo Feng was troubled. 2 choices. Tough choice. 30 billion points had many uses, he could exchange for many treasures. If used well, they could raise his strength greatly. No one truly knew what they truly needed at each point in time. After all, it was hard to predict what encounters they would face. The God General inheritance chance was much more valuable, something that emperors would fight for with the help of their knight teachers. Spending tens of billions of points and owing favors just for the chance of a slot, Luo Feng was very clear, having received the demon note inheritance before, just how heavenly the inheritance was. If he received an inheritance related to the body, his body amplitude may rise tens of times. That would be impressive. Deities of the world, at its limit, could only amplify 36 times. How do I choose? Even though the God General inheritance is good, it'll happen 120,000 years from now. I won't get any benefit within these years. Luo Feng frowned. If it were other warriors, they may immediately exchange for the slot. Luo Feng was different. He had only lived for a few thousand years. What was 120,000 years? It was simply too long. His accomplishments within a few thousand years were this much. Just how much could he grow with that 120,000 years? What would he encounter? There would definitely be times where he would need more points. He stood there and considered hard for 20 seconds. With his calculation speed, he thought of countless answers. Teacher, he said respectfully, have you thought of an answer? The city leader looked at him. I would like to keep the crystal for now. As to whether to exchange it for points or a slot for inheritance, I'll make the decision when the time comes. He said. No problem. The city leader nodded. I will help keep a slot for the God General inheritance. That one is for the square God General inheritance. I will keep it. Until 120,000 years later. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng was grateful. There was no such thing of saving a slot, was it that simple? This was purely the city leader helping him out. Go on. Yes. Luo Feng left respectfully. Watching Luo Feng leave the palace, the city leader nodded within, looking at the army footage of Luo Feng. He can actually easily kill a pinnacle official, even using a flame god crystal to kill a low emperor. Even though the Shouwu wings diffused a lot of the explosion, its strength lies in its speed. In terms of attack and defense, they are secondary. His golden horned beast body can actually withstand the blast. His disciples' encounters are much more mysterious than I thought. Who knows what they are? Other race inheritance? Or a special treasure from the universe itself? Or something from before the Big Bang? He shook his head. The encounters and treasures are there, but everything still depends on the person. Let's see how far he can go. The city leader knew much about Luo Feng. However, with regards to the Nameless Manual, the soldier and general armor, no one knew about them. It was unknown amongst humanity. However, as he observed Luo Feng's growth, he naturally deduced, Luo Feng definitely had some powerful encounters. Only with his own knowledge and vision, he could think of countless possibilities, but it was hard to confirm which it was. Within a cave on the Yangtze main continent, Luo Feng had set up his temporary base. He activated his mini-scanner, and his cloud contact vine spread 10 kilometers about as security. The Mosha body had become a stone within the cave. As for Luo Feng's earth body and the golden horned beast, they began to train in the second volume of the Nameless Manual. This second volume is much harder than the first. How? The genes are evolving, how unbelievable. As he trained, Luo Feng couldn't help but compliment the manual. Training the first volume had led his genes to evolve past a normal human sector lord. Now with the evolution of the second, his genes could evolve to the level of a normal golden horned beast sector lord. Humans and the golden horned beast had a huge difference in gene level. However, with the Nameless Manual, it could remedy that. A technique that surpassed the laws of the universe. It was simply unbelievable. The beast's body completely crumbled. It once again began forming a new body within, continuing with the training. Within the second month of his training, in his villa in the primal region Yuseong Mountain, Virtual Universe. Your Majesty, a team from the Hong Alliance has come. The manager Dylan pointed outside. Luo Feng walked over, frowning. Hong Alliance. Outside the large entrance of the villa, a group of undyings stood, all with different appearances, some human, some from other races, a total of 9 of them. Greetings. Luo Feng walked over, curious, he could guess, from the formless pressure they gave off, they were all emperors. Your Majesty Luo Feng. The leader was a pink-armored lady with pink long hair, her body somewhat translucent. She smiled and Luo Feng was naturally affected by it. We are a special envoy group of the Hong Alliance. We've come here to formally invite you to join the Hong Alliance. Luo Feng frowned. Joining the Hong Alliance. According to the information he had gathered on them, along with talking with other powerful warriors, normally, only emperors would get officially invited. Becoming an emperor was the prerequisite to joining. He had never heard of a sector lord being invited. Please come in, I'm quite surprised by this. Can we sit and talk slowly? Luo Feng smiled and asked. Since Your Majesty invited us, we naturally would not reject. Luo Feng led the team from the Hong Alliance into his spacious villa's living room. Luo Feng had already gotten his people to prepare a banquet earlier on. Please sit. Luo Feng smiled. The members all sat down. Simultaneously, they looked on with interest at Luo Feng. Since they were in this team, they naturally knew about him, that he was the disciple of the legendary being the Primal Chaos City leader. And to be invited into the Hong Alliance at Sector Lord level, it showed that he wasn't ordinary at all. I still don't know your names. Luo Feng finally Saturday. Human, Desire Emperor. The leading absolute beauty, the lady with pink armor smiled and said. Ferocious Clan, Chasing Lightning Emperor. Fog Clan, Dripping Water Emperor. The 9 envoys replied. There were 2 humans, 7 other races, all emperors. All emperors. Luo Feng complimented. It's rare for me to meet so many emperors too, and other race emperors. The weakest in the Hong Alliance are at least emperors. We are not worth your compliments. Desire Emperor's smile was enough to make an undying mesmerized and faint. You should know the reason for our visit. The Hong Alliance involves many other races forming a huge alliance. We definitely will not force anyone to join. However, once one joins, he cannot betray the alliance. Are you willing to join? The others all looked at Luo Feng. Of course. Luo Feng nodded. What a joke. Who would dare reject an alliance with all the super warriors of humanity within? His 2 teachers were also a part of it. How could he not join? And once he was in, he would know almost all of the emperors of humanity. This was truly expanding his horizons and network. The moment Luo Feng replied, a glaring star appeared within the living room. It was resplendent. It became a beam of light, and flew onto Luo Feng's shoulder. Rumble. A blurry image of a human silhouette floated in space. His formless pressure, and the light he projected made it so that Luo Feng and the other emperors couldn't lift their heads to get a clear view of him. It was almost like ants facing a god, no resistance. The light silhouette lowered his head and looked at Luo Feng. Human Luo Feng, the light spoke. It was hard to tell whether it was a man or woman. It pierced straight into Luo Feng's soul. Welcome to the Hong Alliance. From now on, you are an official member. The universe is filled with dangers. For the race to survive, warriors have to fight, whether it's for the Hong Alliance or humanity. This is a duty for everyone, and yours too. The light dispersed, the voice resounding over and over within his mind, and there was silence in the living room. To fight for the Hong Alliance and humanity. Luo Feng muttered. Excuse me. Luo Feng awoke and looked at the 9. May I know who was that? Even though the city leader always controlled his strength around him, he would occasionally emanate energy comparable to that silhouette earlier. And that silhouette's energy earlier didn't seem weaker than his teacher's. That's an enigma of the Hong Alliance. The cool-looking bug soldier chasing Lightning Emperor laughed. Every time someone joins the Hong Alliance, this scene will appear. It would make countless members wonder just who that is. Some say it's the appearance of one of the Hong Alliance's palace masters. Some say it's some AI. The virtual universe can simulate any kind of pressure. This is a possibility. Luo Feng asked curiously. A palace master of the Alliance. Your teacher, the respected primal chaos city leader, is one of the palace masters. They are all beings that surpass the 7 stars. Chasing Lightning said. Surpass the 7 stars. Luo Feng looked at the 1-star mark on his shoulder. I'm considered 1 star. Right? Chasing Lightning nodded. Anyone who just joins the alliance will all be 1 star. 1 star is the lowest position of an official member. Everybody starts there. Don't worry about it. 1 star when one just joins. I'm naturally not affected. He said curiously, this 1 star, 7 stars, palace masters, can you explain to me? Desire Emperor quickly jumped in beside. Luo Feng, you are already a member of the Hong Alliance, you can read up on the detailed information yourself. Desire Emperor said, everything can be searched, if we explain to you, it'll take forever. There's simply too much information about it, we cannot summarize everything. Before you enter Hong Alliance City, take a look at the information, that way you'll understand more before you get in. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. Since I'm already an official member, let's have a banquet together. Ha ha, how can we reject a banquet from your majesty? It's a rare chance. The team of 9 emperors wished to get close to Luo Feng too. It was after an enjoyable banquet that Luo Feng left the group. Within the study, Luo Feng sat in his study and swiftly began to read about the Hong Alliance. That's quite a bit. He held his breath and read. He didn't have access to the information before, now there was plenty to get through. Pictures, footage, words, everything. From the pictures and footage, the main camp of the Hong Alliance was within a space specially opened by the Virtual Universe Company. That space had countless stars, and in the center was a huge floating ancient city. There lived countless warriors. It was the Hong Alliance City. It was where countless humans and other race warriors gathered. It seemed peaceful. It was the virtual universe after all. The security was strict here. Everyone had different levels of authority according to their strength and contribution. Their strengths were determined by their battle records. The higher they were, the more points they got, and they would be separated into 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, until 7 stars. A very simple distinction. All warriors had their star markings on their shoulders. That way, it was easy to see who was at what level. Those that just joined were all 1 star, and later on, according to their battle records, the Virtual Universe System's Hong Alliance point system would automatically calculate and appoint stars to them accordingly. 1 star, a mark of a newcomer, they were normally normal emperor level. 2 stars, a strong warriors amongst emperors. 3 stars, emperor limit. 4 stars, the beginning knight level, True Yang was at this level. 7 stars, the lowest level of a universe master, the Qiansha Palace leader was at this level. What a big city. The Hong Alliance City is separated into the outer, inner city along with the palace. Luo Feng looked at the footage and complimented, the humans sure have many strong warriors, close to 100,000 emperors, with the other races together, the number of emperors exceed 3 million. In the footage, the ancient city that floated amidst the stars had a blur of warriors about. Over 3 million emperors gathered together, their strength split into 1 to 3 stars, all living in the outer city. The inner city was almost empty. The ones with 4 to 6 stars lived in the inner city, these were almost all knights. At the core of the city, there was a majestic over 1 million kilometers tall palace, almost like a huge blade piercing into space. This was the Hong Alliance Palace. There lived the 7-star beings. These beings were at least on the level of the Qiansha Palace leader, or Shiluo duo. The palace masters were those that surpassed the 7 stars. They were all beings that could easily shake up trillions of races. This is the true hidden strength. Luo Feng exclaimed. The primal chaos city leader had the ability to reverse time and revive other warriors. Over countless years, the accumulation of warriors, Luo Feng had guessed that there would be many emperors. However, there were a total of hundreds of thousands of human emperors. The Hong Alliance's other races truly make it strong. The pinnacle other races are very strong, even though they are weak alone. With so many gathered together, there are a total of over 3 million emperors. Even so, the leader of the alliance is still humanity. Looks like in terms of pinnacle strength, humanity still wins. Luo Feng could easily guess. Like Shiluo duo, he was already considered the greatest being in history of the Gold Horn race. And his level, similar to that of the Tian Shi Palace leader, they were still not at the peak of humanity, the huge Axe Founder, Void Gold Master, Dragon Line Master, Primal Chaos City Leader. The difference in strength was obvious. Humans as leaders, taking up huge territories and resources, naturally the other races can only follow and serve from behind. Luo Feng thought. Who knows just how many palace masters there are in the alliance? Luo Feng had tried searching, but his authority level didn't give him anything. This video will end here.